Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my April 2019 products I've hit pan on video. I am trying to do this video consistently every 6 months. So every April and every October of the year, I would like to try and keep this up to kind of track my progress, see how I'm doing. I don't know, there's something nice about checking in with this kind of thing and being like, oh, okay, yeah, all this hard work isn't for nothing. I am getting somewhere, because sometimes when you're project panning, it can feel like there is never any payoff. So it's nice when you could look back over the past 6 months and say, oh, I forgot. Yeah, okay, I'm getting there. So this is my third time doing this. I did one April of 2018, October of 2018, and now April of 2019. I do have a playlist for these that I've started. So if you want to catch up from where I started in last April, you can check that out in my playlists. I mentioned in the very first video that I did of products I've hit pan on that I wasn't really sure what kind of goal I had for myself when it comes to the products I've hit pan on. I don't know if I want the number to go up or to go down, but I knew I didn't want it to stay the same. I wanted it to be different every time I did this, so that every 6 months it looked different. And I'm really happy to say that that is happening. And let's talk about what those numbers are. So in April of 2018, I went through all of my makeup and pulled out anything I'd hit pan on. And I had 37 products that had pan on them at that time. It was pleasantly surprising to find out I had that much pan. I feel like, considering how big my makeup stash is, 37 pans is only a drop in the bucket. I have a lot of makeup that is brand new or barely used, but at the same time, 37 isn't a number to sneeze at, so I'm happy with that. So, in October of 2018, I did this video again, and at that time, I had 41 pans, and out of the original 37 pans that I had, I completely finished 7 of the products that had pan on them. I had been working on 7 at the time, and I had 10 new pans. So I was really happy with those numbers. Even though my amount of pans went up, I actually used up 7 products from the previous update of this video. So where are we today? As of today, I have 44 products with pan on them. So it went up by 3. I finished 5 from the pans that were showing as of last October. I've completely finished 5 of those products. I'm currently working on 7 of the products, and I have 8 new pans for you today. So I'm really happy that we're continuing to move in the right direction. I'm finishing some of these products. I'm hitting new pans as I go, and that's what I want to see. I feel like there are so many products that I'm working on that are so close to hitting pan, and part of me wanted to wait for this video and postpone it until I had a few more pans. But I'm just thinking about how exciting it will be to show you those pans when I do this video again next October. So like I did from the last video in October, I am going to cut to a clip of the products that have pan, but I haven't touched in the last 6 months. They're all pans that I've previously hit prior to 6 months ago, and I'm not working on any of those products currently, and so there's really not much to talk about them. That is the majority of the products out of this 44 that I have pans on. So I'm gonna cut to that little clip right now. Okie dokie, so here is all of the products that I had pan on 6 months ago, the last time I did a products I have pan on video, and I really haven't worked on any of these in the past 6 months, so there's nothing new to talk about with them. They're just kind of, you know what I always say, waiting in the wings for their turn to get panned completely. But I did hit pan on all of these prior to the last time I did this video. So we have my Pan That palette from 2017. That is the Too Faced Natural Face palette. I finished completely those 4 pans, and I hit pan on that guy right there, so that's number 1. Then I have this highlighter with pan. I have 2 Physicians Formula Trios with pan. I have some depotted singles with pan, all of my Super Shock shadows, my Super Shock highlighter, my old L'Oreal blush, my mica eye primer, 1 pan in the Lorac Pro 1, 1 pan in the Lorac Pro 2, and then of course my e.l.f. 100 pan palette where I have a pan here and a pan there. As of right now, I know that there are some of you that want to see me finish this off, and I do want to finish this off, trust me, I do. But with the experiment having the rules and boundaries that I have to follow, I don't think I'm going to be able to put this in just yet. But I do have plans to put this bronzer from Tarte. This came out of a holiday collection, I don't know, many years ago. And it's really thin. I worked on this a lot in, I think 2016. That's crazy how long ago I worked on this. I think it was 2016 that I tried to pan this. So I have a project that this is going to go in soon, and I'm going to try and finish that off this year. This is already in my 2020 Vision project pan. I just haven't started working on it yet because I'm trying to finish up that little sample of the Urban Decay Primer Potion, but as soon as that's gone, this is going to be the one I work on and hopefully finish. And that's about it. I have no plans to continue working on any of these other pans right now, but of course, it's really nice to do this video every 6 months and kind of review what I'm working on and what my plans are so that I can stay focused on, you know, working on these and eventually finishing them off. So these are the products that I had pan on 6 months ago and really haven't worked on at all. Okay, now let's talk about the 5 products that I've finished since the last time I did this video. That's arguably the most exciting part of this video. So really quickly, I had included a non-makeup item in this just because, I don't know, sometimes for me that's as big of a deal as hitting pan on an eyeshadow. But this is a small size of the Body Shop body butter. I believe this was the scent Shea Butter. Or Shea, I'm not sure. Anyways, I had pan on it last time and now it is completely gone. I am keeping this container to depot something in it down the road if I need it because it's a nice size. I could fit this in my purse. I have several large body butters in the large container, but I really like to use these body butters as hand creams. So I'm thinking that I might eventually depot some of the large container into this and keep it in my purse. But that's one. The next product that I finished since the last update is the pink kind of Franken powder I made. It was in my A to Z project pan. No, it was actually in my Birthstone Beauty project pan last year, and it was in this pan right here. I have completely finished that powder. I used it as an all-over setting powder because it was so subtle. It really didn't do anything as far as highlighting goes. And I am so happy to have this gone. It feels great. It was one of my big achievements for 2018. I am keeping this pan for repressing things. I don't have any intentions for it right now, but you never know. So I'm hanging on to this in a bag where I keep empty containers and empty pans for when I need them. And the last 3 products I finished all came from my Pan That palette of 2018. No surprise, I worked really hard on this last year. I did not completely pan the palette, but I did finish the 2 shadows that were in these 2 spots. This one was like, what was this? I've already forgotten. Oh yeah, this was like a matte mid-tone brownie kind of shade. It really didn't do much for me. I kind of used it to use it up because it wasn't a shadow that I really liked. I don't really like neutral mid-tone brown shadows in general. I prefer to use like a peachy color or a pinky color in my crease or transition area, so it really didn't do much for me, and I ended up using it when I mixed it in with the bronzer that was in this pan. This is the other shadow that I finished since last year, or since last October. This was my bronzer. That is now gone. And then in this pan right here, there was like a shimmery gold shadow that I believe in the end, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I ended up mixing the bronzer, the matte mid-tone brown shadow, and the gold shadow all together in this pan. And I just used them as bronzers because I really didn't like these two as eyeshadows at all, and I felt like I could use them up faster as a bronzer. Although I am a big fan of multitasking products, I also have a lot of every category. It's not like I own one bronzer and 5 billion eyeshadows. I own 5 billion eyeshadows and 500 bronzers. So I try to use the products that I have for what they are, with the hope that eventually when I get some of those numbers down, I can multitask more. But when it comes to finishing a product off, I'm more likely to multitask the heck out of it because I just want it gone. And that's kind of what happened in this situation. I'd hit pan on both. I was getting somewhere, but I just wanted it gone. So I mixed them all up and used them as a bronzer. And of course, since then, I have put these two eyeshadows in their place. They are my Baby Pan That palette for this year. And I'm still pulling this palette out just about every day for one reason or another. So those are the 5 products that I had pan on last October and have now completely finished. All right, now it's time to talk about the products that I have been working on and I've expanded pan on, and the new products that I've hit pan on since this last update. Like I said, I have 8 new pans to show you, so that's pretty exciting. Since I have my Pan That palette from last year out, let's start there. The new pans for this palette since last October are the matte dark brown eyeshadow that I use in my brows almost every day, and this shimmery vanilla shade. This is not originally part of this palette. Originally there was a matte vanilla shade or like a cream shade in this palette, and I used it up, and then I repressed this shimmery shade in here because I prefer a shimmery brow bone highlight. And yeah, I have major pan in there. Major pan. I would love to finish it off someday, sooner rather than later. But yeah, 2 new pans in here. For my current Pan That palette, I have 1 new pan. If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have 2 new pans. But as of today, I only have 1 new pan, so that's the pan I'm counting. You guys know what I'm talking about. I am talking about that dusty pink shade that I repressed. I had good size pan on this, but I did repress it, and there is no pan now. But there will be next time, I promise you that, because I am working on it. So the new pan, of course, is this kind of lilac-y lavender shade from an old Almay trio. I really am pleased with the progress I'm making on that, and there's a new little speck of pan right here, so I'm working right there to kind of bridge the gap there. And then of course this Revlon eyeshadow. This was something that I'd hit pan on a long time ago. It's been in several projects, and I am just working to finish this off this year in my Pan That palette. I am not using it as consistently as I was originally hoping because of the experiment, but I do work on this a few days every month to hopefully make a little bit of progress, and usually I use this as a face highlighter, even though it actually is an eyeshadow. Hopefully there will be a lot more pan in this palette when I go to do this video again in October. I've mentioned it a few times, but I've decided I would like to try to pan this e.l.f. concealer quad this year completely and move this product out. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I'm going to try. This will be the only cream bronzer I am using from now until this product is gone. This is a concealer palette in the shade Dark. It is intended for women of deep skin color. I looked at it and right away thought it would make a good cream bronzer, and I bought it. I've already had this for several years. It's still in amazingly good shape, And 6 months ago when I did this video, I only had pan on the center two pans in this palette. And of course now I have pan in the outer two pans of this palette. I'm currently focusing on this lightest shade from Day to Day because at this time of year I'm about as light as I get, and so the lightest shade seems like the best fit. Eventually I will start getting some sun exposure. Even though I wear sunscreen every single day, I do tan quite easily because I'm out with the kids all day, every day. And I will be able to use these darker shades more easily, but for now, I just want to get as much progress on this one as possible. And I'm really happy to see how big that pan has gotten, especially since 6 months ago, there was none at all. So yes, 2 new pans in this palette. My ColourPop kindness is a funny situation because it's arguable as to whether or not I have pan on this, but I did have it in a project earlier this year, and I have been working on it. I'm not currently working on it, but I have worked on it over the last 6 months. I had a really good size pan on this Super Shock Shadow 6 months ago, or was it a year ago? At one point I had a really good size pan, and then I mixed some argan oil into it to kind of revive it because it was looking dry, and I smushed it all back in the center. I put this in 2 rounds of the Roulette Pan collab to hit pan in the center again, and even though that button is sticking right out and staring at me, there's no pan there, but technically there's pan like around the outer edge, so I count it. But yeah, that product kind of pisses me off sometimes, even though I absolutely love this color. The Super Shock Shadow that I definitely have pan on, and is one of the newest pans of my Super Shock Shadows, is the shade Frog. This recently rolled out of Go for the Gold because I did hit pan on it. This is a gorgeous shadow. It's more like a topper than a standalone shadow, but if you are trying to pan some boring matte shadows or shimmery shadows that have kind of lost their luster, I would highly recommend you pick this up and just pop it on top of those eyeshadows. It'll make it way more interesting, and it'll help you get through those older kind of boring shadows a little bit more easily, because this is fun. It's really great. That's the only new ColourPop Super Shock Shadow pan I have. I definitely feel like my progress on hitting pan on those has slowed because I have so many more shadows in my Pan That palette this year. It's just kind of hard to dedicate as much time to my Super Shock Shadows as I used to. A pan that I hit back in December is my Maybelline Color Tattoo in Bad to the Bronze. It is the tiniest little pan there right in the center, right there. But I'm counting it because I worked really hard to hit that pan last year. I wish it was a little bit bigger. I should use this a few more times to expand the pan, but there is definitely pan in there. And finally, my newest pan. I could see pan through the glass on this product at my last month's update in A to Z. Actually, the update before last for A to Z. But I used it one more time today to kind of really make that pan show through. I am talking about my e.l.f. Long Lasting Lustrous Eyeshadow in Soiree. This is what it looks like. There is definitely pan now, or plastic. I had this in my A to Z project last year. I have it in my A to Z project this year. You would think I would have even more progress based on that, but the truth is, even though it's in a project, it just never gets enough attention because of Pan That palette. I'm happy if I can use this once or twice a month, which really doesn't get you very far in the panning world. It takes a lot more work than that to hit pan, but over time, eventually, I did finally hit pan. And this is what it looks like on my eyes. Of course, I have like 3 other eyeshadows on my eyes too, but it's just a beautiful shade. I would highly recommend a shade like this for any of you with like green or hazel eyes especially, but it definitely works for women with brown eyes because It's just a beautiful shade. I just love this kind of shadow. I was just recently talking to somebody and I said, you know, if I could only pick one eyeshadow, if I had to get rid of all of my eyeshadows and could only pick one eyeshadow, it would probably be this one because I just love this shadow so much. It's just the best color. I recommend it, and it's like $2 or $3 or something, so it's good. That's it. That feels like it flew by, but that's where we're at as far as products I have pan in for April of 2019. I really think that I'm gonna have a lot more pan by the next update. At least I hope so. I'll be back in October to check in with you guys and let you guys know what's changed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.